Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 31 of Trapped in My Mind. I'm your host, Seth, and today with me I got my good buddy, Matt, aka Botas.
Hi everybody, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me, Seth.
Yeah, of course, dude. I feel like, I guess, since I'm gonna intro by calling you Botas, I guess I should maybe briefly explain that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for anyone who may know Spanish that's listening to this, Botas means...
Boots.
And this guy picked Botas as his Spanish name in, what, 9th grade, 10th grade?
Yup.
And that's just how that's how I know him. He's in my phone as Botas. So if throughout the episode, if I ever like name drop him, I'll probably say Botas, and that's why. So I feel like I had to just preface that so that way people aren't just like, what the fuck's this guy saying?
Right.
But his name's actually Matt. It's not Botas. Does anyone else call you that? Or
No, just you and like the people we played soccer with.
Oh, they do?
Well, I feel like some of them call me Botas. Like the ones I don't know as well, because they heard you call me Botas, and I don't know. And I'm pretty sure my jersey says Botas on the back. So
the
one of them does.
one, like the greenish.
I think it's the green and white, or the I don't know what you made. I don't know. It was green and white. It had like some zigzags or whatever.
Yeah. I did not realize that. I do kind of remember you having Botas. That was the one we played 11v11 for.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Well, so aside from me and Miss Job, there's a few people who call you Botas, so I like that. Anyway, Matt, thank you for coming on. I'm super excited to talk about the topics that you identified because you picked them all yourself.
I sure did.
Normally how this goes is I'll send people topics and I just haven't been on top of it. So you said, I'll bring some topics over tomorrow, as in today. You come over and you're like, here they are. And I'm like, okay, you kind of caught me off guard. Let's go for it. And the first thing that you said you want to talk about, which I think is awesome, is kindness and positivity. And you have a little story, I'm sure, that goes with that. So I'll pass it over to you. Why did you want to talk about that?
All right. Well, so... this morning, I woke up and I went to go wash my car, and I was waiting in line to wash my car. It was the quarter car wash, so they had 4 bays, and they were all taken up. So I was sitting there waiting in line for someone to get done, and this guy pulls in, and in this like old beater car, like this middle-aged dude, probably 40, 50 years old, pulls up right next to me. And he goes, hey, dude, and he tells me to roll down my window. I roll down my window, and he's like, yeah, hey, man, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm good. How are you? And he's like, man, I'm great. He goes, just so you know, whichever bay opens up first, it's yours. And I mean, because when you go to those car washes, you can't really tell who's going to get done first. And normally it's just luck of the draw. But he was like, man, you were here first. Whatever bay opens up first is yours. And, people aren't normally that kind. And I mean, me and this guy had about a 10-minute conversation before one of the bays opened up. And it honestly, his kindness and positivity changed my mood for the whole entire day. I was, briefly explaining to Seth right before we started this that there was a point in time this morning where I woke up and I was really nervous and anxious to come on here because I've never been on a podcast. And I was like, well, what the hell am I going to talk about? What am I going to say? And I was honestly debating on canceling. My excuse was going to be that I was hungover from the night before, and I had a bad headache, a little bit. But but anyways, yeah, that was going to be my excuse. And I'm not saying I was just going to do it. I mean, I was thinking about it. Like it was crossing my mind. You know what I'm saying? But this guy's positivity and kindness he brought. This morning, I mean, he was like, it's beautiful out. It's 70 degrees. I'm just chilling today. I don't got to work. And I was like, damn, I need to be a little more positive and I need to, so, I mean, his positivity and kindness completely changed the trajectory of my day. So I guess that the reason why I wanted to talk about that with Seth and you guys was mostly because I think we all could be a little more positive and show kindness to others, especially in the world we live in today. So
yeah, no, I 100% agree. There's actually a couple things in that story that I guess I just have comments on. For one, I'm surprised to hear that you were nervous to come over because from how I know you, I feel like you're one of the least nervous people I've ever met. Like I feel like it doesn't matter what the plan is, you're like, sure, I'm game, and you'll talk your ass off and be outgoing for it. So it's interesting to hear because I feel like a lot of people get nervous before shit and just maybe don't express it as much as others. So glad that you came. And for anybody who might be wanting to come on but be nervous, just know that it's two people in the conversation, so you're not on your own if you come and you don't feel like you have anything to say. So I'm glad you made it. But going back to like the point of your story, dude, when somebody is positive when they don't have to be, that's the thing. It's like that fucking changes your mood instantly and like your outlook of like the day. So I'm glad to hear that you have like a experience like that, because I mean, just for me, like I feel like pretty much every job I've had, there's like that one coworker who's like always in a good mood, and like if they're not there, the day sucks, because it's like fuck, no one's here being positive. Like you realize how much somebody being positive like just makes you want to be around them more, and also just makes you like enjoy yourself more. So I would agree with you. If we could all kind of be more like a more positive version of ourselves, I think it would serve a lot. I think it would serve ourselves better and others. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's contagious. It really is. I mean, there's really just nothing else to say. But something that I thought of when you were mentioning the nerves and things like that. I don't want to go off on a tangent too bad, but
no, we're good.
With it brought up a good point. You know, I think people need to become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like the best things in life come from when you're nervous. So I guess what I'm trying to say is when you sit in your comfort zone and do things that are normal to you, nothing new, just stay in your comfort zone, you're not going to have those life experiences that you would have if you were getting out of your comfort zone. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to do. It's nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe anxiety is involved. But I think on the other side of that, you end up having the best experiences of your life.
Yeah, I agree. And it's hard to see that when you're like nervous or you have fear of what's, the unknown. But I was actually just talking to Darian. Well, Darian was kind of telling me on my podcast, like, because we brought up what, like, is lying okay? And on the opposite side of lying, like, you have hurt once you find out you're being lied to, but the opposite side of that is like growth. And so would you never be hurt if you never knew the lie? Yeah, but you also never grow and have a lesson learned. So it's kind of like the same thing with like fear and anxiety. Sure, you could be comfortable if you're never doing these things that challenge your anxiety or challenge your nervousness. But on the other side of that, I would agree with you. More often than not, I think it's a good surprise because you do something that you haven't done. You're like, fuck yeah. It makes it's
right.
The yin and yang of life.
It really is. And yeah, I mean, and that kind of, it kind of goes with that philosophy that, you miss out on 100% of the opportunities that you don't take.
Quoting Wayne Gretzky?
Maybe. Is that him?
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Right. Yes, yeah. That.
Wayne Gretzky,
right
Michael Scott,
yep.
Matt Hughes.
Yep. So you heard it here, third. Yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and I think that's true. So, if you see an opportunity present itself, don't get nervous and be afraid. And that's hard. It's easier said than done, for sure. But try your best to just make it happen and be along for the ride.
Yeah, what's one thing? Like every time I see or interact, like for example, if I was in your shoes at the car wash and like that guy did what he did, I want to know why he's so happy. I want to know like what his deal is. Like not bad deal, but like what did something did you get good news today? Did you just like hit big on the lottery? Did you just like get married? Like or are you just always that happy? Because I'm always curious of like how does somebody keep such a positive mindset? Because like for me personally, I feel like generally I'm normally pretty positive, but I don't know if I'm perceived that way by others. As we're like the certain people I have in my mind of like people I've worked with, it's like they're always positive. Even when there's nothing going on that's like super positive for them, it's just another day. So how do those people keep such a positive mindset, and like how do they? I don't know. I think I'm envious of it. I wish I knew how to do it, but
I got a couple ideas for that.
Okay.
So first off, I think I know why that guy was so happy. So through our like 10-minute conversation, he told me how busy he was at work this week. He worked. Worked for Dodge or something. I don't know what he did or whatnot, but he basically he had a long week at work and he didn't work today. That was all it took for him to be. I mean, that was all it took. So I think the main takeaway there is, don't sweat the little things.
Yeah. See,
Like, I mean, he took, like, there's probably so much stuff going on in this guy's life right now, right? And he decided to just enjoy the day and be happy that he didn't have to work. It's kind of like freeing your mind from all the little minuscule shit that really doesn't matter in the long term.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's something I've been trying to make a conscious effort to do, is to not sweat the little things. Because I maybe it's just me, but I get caught up in the little things a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, like, something happens during your day or throughout the week, and it puts you in a bad mood. But is that thing gonna matter, a day from now, 2 days from now, a week from now?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. So, I mean, if it's not gonna matter a week from now, why are you letting it, ruin your mood in the present? If it's not
Yeah.
gonna matter in the future, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. No, I know. And I mean, I'm very guilty of that. Actually, just this other day, like, was it Wednesday or Thursday? I was like, so I recently got this house, right? And there's lots of things I want to do to it. And I don't have an infinite amount of money to do these things. So I'm looking at all these projects. I'm like, I just got overwhelmed myself, because I was like, okay, in my mind, I'm like, I'll attack this first project. I'm feeling good about it. And then halfway through it, I'm like, well, I'll start another thing too. I didn't just like finish it. I just kept starting different things. And I'm like, dude, I have so many different things. And I started looking up like the cost and like the work to do it. And I'm like, fuck, I just like really stressed myself out. And I went to bed and like pissed off. Like, my house is fucking shitty. I got nothing to like, and it's not. And like, here I am today, and like, I don't feel as shitty about it. So it's like, I really should have just not have let it get so, I don't know, shouldn't have let it like
Get to you,
tear down my
right.
like day. Because
Right.
it's like, I'm going to get to it eventually. So I don't know. But going to the, like, your point of the guy's ability to be positive because he wasn't working, maybe it's my negative mindset, but I pull from that, like, well, maybe you should get a different job if you're only happy when you get away from your job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point, because money is good and all, but at the end of the day, you want to do something that you can enjoy or at least not hate. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as long as I feel like, this is a complete different tangent, but if I have purpose in my job, I don't have to enjoy it all the time. But if I feel like there's some purpose that I'm serving in that job, then for me, it's fulfilling. But if it's like just some bullshit busy work where I can't even really see the value that I'm adding,
man,
I can't do it.
I can't relate to this topic any more than what you just said, because I feel the same exact way.
Oh, yeah?
The same exact way, yes. Yeah, like
expand on it,
to
yeah.
a T, because I've gone through shit like that, where I'm working a job and I'm doing busy work, things that don't matter, and it's like I want to do shit that's important.
Yeah.
Whether it's important to the business or important to the people I work for or whatever. I want to have a sense of purpose. I don't want to be filing paperwork or just I don't want to be doing shit that makes you feel useless, in a sense.
Well, I feel like just disposable is the word. Like,
Yeah.
anybody could do this job right now. So what? And I'm not saying I'm like way smarter than anybody else, but my strengths are different from doing routine, monotonous tasks. And yes, I think every job comes with a little bit of that, which I have no problem doing a little bit of that. But if I can't see exactly what I'm doing and how that like adds value to the process or the company or like society, then why would I want to do it? I just feel like anybody could be put in that position, and I don't know. And maybe that makes me sound like conceited or something, like, oh, I'm above that. But
No, not at all. Not at all.
But I don't know. I just feel like I can't. If something doesn't have value, I don't want to be doing it. Even if it is
agree.
paying me.
I agree. I actually just, I agree, because that's something that, I mean, I know what you just said. You don't want to come across as a dick or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a lot of jobs where you can find purpose that don't have to be the most important jobs in the world.
Yep.
But there are some jobs, on the other hand, where you're just doing mundane shit that's boring as hell, like you said, disposable. And I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I just feel like, well, I guess what I'm trying to say to you guys is that, even if you don't have like the best job right now, if you can find purpose, or find ways to contribute that are more than just doing that disposable shit, not only will it make you feel better about your job, but it might get you a raise or a promotion too. Because if your boss, manager, whoever sees that you take the initiative, that you want to be more involved, with this company and this business, they're going to like that.
Yeah.
So
I agree completely. And like you were saying, I would also agree, like, it doesn't have to be like, I got to be finding the cure to cancer. It can literally be, here's a process. My place is to optimize this or find the inefficiencies and improve upon it. Okay, there's purpose in that. Cool. Mm-hmm. But if it's just like, here's some files, I need this, organized.
Right. And I've been there, done that, and it's not fun.
Yeah, I think everyone's done it. I think especially a lot of like starting off jobs, whether it be co-ops or even entry level, there's a lot of that, which is fine because I feel like if out of everybody, the new people maybe should be doing that just to earn their stripes.
Builds the resume, whatnot,
Yeah.
Then you put on your resume, collaborated with team members, making reports sent to the CFO or whatever. It's all about putting it on the resume. Meanwhile, you're actually just filing shit and organizing papers.
And then making it sound nice to look what I did.
Right.
Yeah. No, I like the story about the positivity because, like I said, several people I've worked with, it's a bad day when they're not there. So I think if I could learn to be the positive source of, energy or positivity, that would better serve me. So good story on that. Completely different fucking transition here. And I'm curious to see what you have to say. You wanted to talk about aliens.
Yeah.
So natural transition, we go
Very
from
natural.
positivity and kindness to aliens on this podcast. So what about aliens? I guess, why did that come to your mind?
Well, this morning I woke up, I was sitting in bed, I was like, all right, what's some lighthearted shit we can talk about? And you even got a fucking astronaut over there on your thing.
Yep. Well, because Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon.
This could be an alien brain, for all I know. I doubt it.
Gonna have to ask Ross. He brought it.
But thank you, Ross. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah,
because it's trapped in my mind, and that's really fucking cool, by the way. It's a good piece for the podcast. Anyways, it's just really a topic that intrigues me, and I'm not a full-on conspiracy theorist or anything, but it's just it's something I like to think about, and it kind of stems from the fact that like I always wonder what, like, and this is getting really like broad, like I always like wonder what our meaning is like a species. And I know a lot of people probably don't think about this every day, they just go to work or whatever, but like something that actually crossed my mind a lot is like one day we die.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, like, where do we go? And I grew up Catholic, my whole life, and I'm still a Catholic. I don't go to church anymore, but I believe in a God. I mean, I don't know if like everything that happened in the Bible like makes sense because it was written by another person.
Yeah. And
people don't always tell the truth. And I'm not saying it's not true, but like I believe there's a God. I don't believe the Big Bang just fucking there was nothing and then there was a bunch of shit. Like, how does that happen? Like, I don't believe that for a second. Somebody put the shit there for that to happen, or like I believe there's a God. And I pray. Actually, I have a cross on my chain. I haven't taken this off in like 8 years.
Okay.
And I pray every night to God, whoever that is. But like I pray every night, and I do have a little more Catholic of a faith. Like I believe in God, but like I said, it can mean different things. Like it doesn't mean it's like the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ or whatnot. It could be some higher being that that put us here or whatever. And throughout time and stuff, we've referred to that person as God through things we've seen or whatever.
Like the idea of
God. So anyways, that's kind of what made me really think like about aliens and start to be curious about them, because I was like, shit, well, if there's all sorts of other species out there, and like the world's gonna keep going and the universe is gonna keep going when we're all dead, it doesn't make me feel as bad, because I'm like, shit, one day we're all gonna be dead, and it's like, what the fuck, we all were here, we were here on Earth, whatever, we're all dead, and it's like, oh, our life didn't mean shit, like I'm talking like a billion years from now, you know what I mean? Like if everybody's gone, like I'd be pretty pissed off, But like, if I know that there's other people out there, there's probably other civilizations and shit. Or maybe if I could have a guarantee that I knew that like people were gonna fucking make it, you know, like make it that far into the future.
Yeah.
Like that's cool and all. So that's really where it started. So like I watched like random documentaries and YouTube videos, shit like that. I watched one on Netflix not too long ago about this guy named Bob Lazar or something.
Okay.
He was like the first person that brought the whole Area 51 shit to the mainstream media and to the spotlight. And I really think anybody that is semi-interested in it, go watch that because it's fucking crazy. It's on Netflix. I don't know what the exact name is, but if you Google Bob Lazar, Netflix documentary, you'll find the name of it. And I'll give you a quick little rundown. I mean, this dude claimed he was a physicist, whatever. Got a job at Area 51, and the shit that he claimed that he worked on was out of this world. Like he claimed he worked on like UFOs that were powered by like antimatter and shit, and that literally defied gravity. They had no fuel source, shit like that. Or they did have a fuel source, but they couldn't replicate it. And the things that actually kind of bring truth to his story, which is interesting, is for one, they had this like certain like hand fingerprint scanner, and this was like, I want to say, I don't remember exactly, maybe the 80s, 1980s. So this shit wasn't around then. But like a fingerprint scanner where you put your hand on it and it like scanned your hand, and that you had to do that before you went into the facility or whatnot. And like nobody believed that when he said that. Well, a couple years later, those are a fucking thing, and like people are using them, and it's like, oh shit, like this ended up being real. This dude talked about it years before it actually was public, but it was real because Area 51 was already using that technology, and another example is, I want to say it was, the element was, I think it was 115, and it's an element on the periodic table that didn't get discovered, I want to say, till like around the year 2000 or something. And he publicly like came out and basically said that they were working with this element in like 1980 something.
Yeah.
And I guess, I don't know how like chemistry and shit or fit, whatever it is, the periodic, I don't know how that shit works. But what I do know is like apparently there's like an active state of this metal and a not active state. So we were able to synthesize this metal, or I think it's a metal. Fuck, I don't know. But it's like a
element.
It is element, and we could, but it was not activated. So apparently, activating it, whatever that means, activating it is what allowed them to use it as a fuel source. Whatever the aliens, flying saucers, whatever the fuck they were, that's what allowed them to use it as a fuel source. And now we can't activate it apparently. But the people doing the documentary reached out to like 10 physicists or whatever, like throughout the whole world, like that are world renowned people, and like 8 of the 10 were like, no, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility to be able to activate this element, even though we haven't done it yet. So that was interesting that he came up with an element before it was actually disclosed, and then there it is. And one more thing I'll add to that on this documentary, in order to hide the fact that he like worked at Area 51, they completely scrubbed his education. They completely scrubbed his previous job history at this lab that he worked at before Area 51. So they were trying to like basically decredit his story when he came out with it. However, there's like phone books from that lab that he worked at that had like people's names on them, because this was back in the 80s, and had their phone numbers. He was listed as an employee on that book they found. In addition to that, there's newspaper articles about him working at that facility in the 1980s. However, you call that facility, they don't have any record of him ever working there. Yeah. So like, to me, that's like, you might not believe everything in the documentary, but like, that's kind of crazy. Like, why the fuck would they do that if this guy had no credibility?
Oh, I definitely think that there's things that just aren't shared with the masses by the government or whoever, probably by big tech companies, the government, just individuals. I think there's definitely things that just aren't shared because I think it would cause panic. And I mean, I don't know. But and I also think that there's aliens and what they in some capacity. Now, do I think that they're these green big-headed creatures? Not necessarily.
Right.
But to me, it's wild to think that we have such a vast like space, and like the Milky Way galaxy is only like a blip on all of space. To think that there's no other type of life form, I think it's crazy if you think there's no other life form. I'm not sure that it's going to be like other humans or even anything remotely close to humans, but there's got to be other life. So I think in that definition of alien, they definitely exist. And I think reading about aliens is interesting. I think for some reason, more and more people, like, it's becoming less and less of like a conspiracy type thing. It's more like, yeah, they're probably there, but is it as like the movies say it is? I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, I'm all over the board with what you were just saying. One thing I want to bring it back to was, you said like you were questioning what the meaning of life is, and I think that has to be looked at in like two different ways, because like if you're questioning the meaning of like your life, well, to me, I think Kevin said it well in his podcast. Like, really, what purpose do I serve? It would be to kind of make the people that I leave behind remember me for something that I did positive. Like, that's really the only thing that brings me like fulfillment. I mean, because like, I'm gonna die, and I don't believe that I'll go anywhere else. I think I'm dead after that. And so, what's really the purpose of me being here? Just to exist. I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I think for humans or anything like as a species, or like even if we're talking about all these aliens and all these species, I don't really know that there is a purpose, because if everything's gone, like, am I making any sense?
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Like, and I don't think it's necessarily negative, but like, if the human species just wipes out, what was the purpose of the human species? Just to keep evolving and becoming better versions of ourselves, or worse versions of ourselves, some will say. I mean, what can we do as a human species to leave behind if we're all not here? Like, there's just no purpose, I don't think.
Right, and to continue a tangent off that, I know we're kind of going away from the aliens, but that's fine.
That's fine.
This is kind of interesting, I don't throw anything out the window when it comes to people's like theories on either what happens when we die or what the fuck we're even doing here in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, I don't throw any theories out the window. And it's not like, I hate the government, I don't trust anything they do. It's not like that, but it's like, those motherfuckers might not even know what's actually happening. They try to tell us, and it's in our media and stuff, but like, we don't know. Like, we could be, like Elon Musk thinks, we could be living in a fucking simulation. For all we know, we don't know.
Yeah, and honestly, who cares? That's the thing, too, is like, I hate that everybody has to like find, like, hey, what's the meaning of life? Tell me, because I don't know. Fucking make your own meaning of life.
Oh yeah, you'll never get a straight answer. You got to find it yourself.
Well, like there's several like videos and TED Talks like what is the meaning of life and stuff. It's like, why am I asking somebody else the meaning of what my life should be? Just fucking self-define your meaning of life. And if you don't have one, I don't think that has to be a sad thing. Like, I really, I'm probably in the minority here, but I feel like if you don't have a meaning in life, it doesn't mean it's sad. Like, life goes on. After you're gone, life will go on. And if it doesn't, then all the humans are gone. Well, then that's it.
Oh, well, right.
I mean, just enjoy it while you can. And going back to even your positive thing and kindness, like, be positive and kind as much as you can, but also enjoy the not so positive times, because that makes you appreciate the positive times more. So
I agree.
I mean, I don't know.
So we tied it in, aliens and kindness. Boom.
Yeah. So
or life.
So
meaning of life and aliens.
We can kindness, go back. We can go back to aliens. So no, because I'm curious. So what is your what is your belief with aliens? Do you think that they're out there?
So yes, 100%. I think I hate to like alienate any of you guys, but like, you're fucking stupid if you don't believe. I'm sorry, but like, this is my hot take. If you don't believe there's any other life in the whole fucking universe, I mean, come on, like wake up. There's no way. And you can think of the science behind it. There's all those, like, I took an astronomy class in college, and there was like there's this whole equation. I think it was called like the Drake equation or some shit, where they like took all these factors, multiply them together, and basically like there's like almost no chance that there's no other life in the universe based on how many like solar systems there are, how many planets that are in a habitable zone like compared to their star or sun. I mean, like so like they took all sorts of random shit into consideration. They were like, yeah, there's like no way there's no other civilization. So I 100% believe there is. I think there's a lot of debate as to, whether we've ever like come in contact with them or if we ever will. I'm not someone that's like, oh yeah, we've totally came in contact with aliens, but I don't throw the idea away because, like I said, the government, they could know shit that they're not telling us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, why is Area 51 like the most heavily guarded place on the fucking planet? Like, I mean, it's like shoot on sight if you get caught in there. Like, they can literally just kill you.
Yeah.
There's no other military base in the whole world that's that protected. It's crazy. So, they could be hiding shit there. That or it's just military, like, experimental shit they don't want other countries knowing about. But I definitely think, I believe there's 100% aliens. But I also entertain the idea that we haven't came across them because the universe is just so vast and so large that we just haven't come across them yet. But then on the other hand, I also entertain the idea that we've already had contact with them, and that doesn't necessarily mean it just happened or it's happening right now. But if you've ever seen, I haven't watched it a lot, but I've seen some episodes of like Ancient Aliens and stuff, and there's just a lot of things that sculptures, like hieroglyphs or things that were like written on walls and shit from way back in the day. That just kind of make you think, like, what were they drawing? Like, that looks just like a fighter jet, but it was like, the year 1300 or some shit.
Yeah.
No, it was actually probably before. It was before that. I mean, I don't know when the fucking like ancient Egyptians. Yeah, like that shit. So,
I mean, I don't need a scientific formula to tell me that there's probably life out there. I believe that there is too. But the weird thing is too, when you're hearing you talk through that, it's like, how do we know that space is so big? Because we're just believing science blindly. That's the thing, too.
That's true. Like, that's another thing. Who knows?
What if it's literally just the Milky Way? Or
what if there's no space?
These are all assumptions, and sure, they're found by doing science, but like we haven't been there. We haven't and I'm not saying like the moon. I believe the moon was real. Right. I believe we've gone to the moon and Mars, and we found like the planets in our solar system. But like beyond that, we're guessing based on different science things, and maybe I just don't understand the science. So I believe that those things are there, but I kind of like blindly believe it. You know what I mean? We don't know what the fuck is out past what we can see.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah.
Some sciences are, there's certain things that just are scientific and make sense, like things that we can observe here on Earth. But I think there's there's a point where science also becomes a belief and almost becomes a religion. Yeah. If you think about it, because we can't see outside of, like you said, our solar system, whatever. Who knows if it's even true that there's all that shit out there? We don't know.
Yeah, and sure we can use. Again, I'm so real stupid because I don't know much about I guess it'd be astrophysics or physics, but they can look at the pressures and the gravity and all these different things and how light travels, and they can assume that space goes on X amount of distance. But again, that we could be completely wrong about that. And so maybe it's not as big as we think there is, so maybe there's not life. But my belief is that, it's huge, and if it's that big, there's no way that there's no other life somewhere else. But again, I also don't really give a shit because
right.
That's the thing too, is everyone's like, oh, the government's hiding this shit. I'm pissed. It's why? If you knew right now that there's aliens, for sure, would your life be any different than having it be hid from you? For me, I don't think it would be. Now, maybe if I was allowed to have an alien as a pet or something, that would change my life a little bit. Maybe for the better, maybe for the worse. But if the knowledge that there was aliens in the world was around, it would not change my life at all. So do I give a fuck if they're hiding it from me? No, I don't. And honestly, this brings it back to the episode with Darian, which hasn't been aired yet, so you might not know what I'm talking about. But we were talking about lying and stuff. Like, if I don't ever find out about a lie, does it affect me? And like she was saying, and I think most people would agree with her, that you just want to know things like up front because it's going to be less like shocking. Whether you tell me there's aliens now and we just discovered them, or you tell me there's aliens in 40 years and you knew about it for a while, I'm going to be just as shocked, and I don't really care. And also, if I don't find out that there's aliens ever, even if there are, am I going to be worse off for not knowing that there's aliens? Like, that's an example of like the lies that if there are aliens and it's being kept from me and being lied about, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Right. I understand that 100%. 100%. It doesn't change anything.
No, because we were talking about lies, and I think for the most part, yeah, you want to be honest, and there's things that you shouldn't lie about. But like things like that, don't give a fuck if you're lying about that to me at all, because it really doesn't. I mean, yeah, I'd be like, oh wow, there's aliens, and then I'd be like, all right, well, go about my day. It's a little thing. Oh, I didn't even hear that. So
it kept going off. So
oh well, the guy's popular.
Yeah, I gotta make gotta turn it down because I keep getting all those messages. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
So here's a nice little segue. We were talking about aliens, and the fear of aliens is called xenophobia. Xenophobic. Your fear of foreigners, feeling of aliens. And that brings us into the next topic we want to talk about, is American privilege. Lots of times people are scared of foreigners or are hard-pressed against foreigners because this is America and this is, great. And on the opposite side of that, people say that America is not great because we are racist and we're all these things. But I'd like to see what you have to say about American privilege. And that was kind of a terrible segue.
That was awesome. No, that was a fucking great segue.
We're here. We're here to the new topic now.
Yeah. All right. Well, so, and I kind of came up with this just because of everything that's going on in the Middle East right now, all the conflict. You see the videos online. I mean, innocent people are, stuck in between countries.
Israel and Palestine, right?
Yeah. And I'm not going to give comments on one or the other. That's not something first of all, not something I know enough about. So I'm not going to take a stance on something I don't know enough about. And second of all, I think the bigger issue is the innocent people that are stuck in the middle. And that's kind of where I came up with the idea to talk about American privilege, just because of how lucky we are to live in a country where we can do whatever the fuck we want, be whatever the fuck we want, and there's people overseas that have to be worried about bombs falling on their heads. Mm-hmm. And with our current, climate in our country, I think there's a lot more good things about our country that people fail to see. Mm-hmm. A lot of people want to point out the bad. And of course, that's what the news and the media is probably going to push to you, because it brings in more money for them. It brings in more views, more clicks, whatever. But because it brings up more controversy, it brings up more divide. But I think there's a lot more good in this country than bad. And I think we should be so lucky, and we should be so grateful to live in a country like this, because there's people that are fighting to try and get to our country, and that are trying to migrate to our country to live here because America is the best fucking country in the world. And then we have other people that live in our country that say how much they hate it. It's like, fine, go fucking to Israel, go to Palestine. Tell me how it is, and then come back. You're gonna feel, you know what I mean? You're gonna feel fortunate that you have the opportunity to live in the United States. Mm-hmm. So I just think, my opinion is, I think a lot of people take it for granted.
Yeah, and I agree. I think even considering our weaknesses as a country, I still think it's one of the best places to live. Now, granted, we're both white men, right? So it's it's not gonna be hard for us,
right?
That's true. But
I get that.
But I still think that even if you are a minority in America, you're gonna be better off than lots of these other countries, even if it's you're a local to that country. Why do you think so many foreigners want to come to America? and we're not perfect. There's definitely, I think, still inequalities based on race and gender and sex and all these different things. Those exist, I think it's dumb if you think those don't exist, at least to some extent.
Right.
However,
right.
I still think you don't have to worry about I'm trying to check my privilege here.
Well, no, and I think that's good that you're like that. We're like acknowledging the fact like this is coming from the viewpoint of two white males. I think it's always good to like acknowledge your bias and just to because I mean that's the best way is to put yourself in someone else's shoes or to at least acknowledge the fact that you're thinking of something might be a little skewed compared to other people. I think that's really good that you brought that up. That it's that's from our perspective, but everybody else has a different.
Yeah, and we could be wrong, but I would agree with the one point you said of you don't think it's as divided as it seems, because I would agree, because, and again, knowing that I'm a white straight man, I don't face lots of I guess bias would be the word maybe, but even like considering all that, I don't see it, I don't hear about it like from individuals personally that like face all this shit. The only place I really see all of this divide and all this hate is on social media or in the news, because it's controversial, so it brings more attention. But I don't think that actually represents holistically the United States.
Well, yeah, and that's a good point. And I think there's overall as a country, I think there's far more good going on. There's far more good people than there are bad people. There are some bad people, and and I think that's where this stigma is coming from. Is the bad people are ruining it for the good. There's a few bad. There are bad people out there. There are going to be. There's and it's always going to be that way. There's always going to be people that are racist against some ethnicity or whatever. There's just going to be people that are like that are racist, that are sexist, that are homophobic, whatever. There's always going to be people that are like that, but I think the direction our country is headed is a lot better. I think there's just more and more and more and more people are like, starting to, I don't know how to word it. They're just more and more people, especially with our generation growing up, we're taught a lot about equality, and we're taught a lot to accept everybody. And I think, why the fuck wouldn't you accept everybody?
Well, we are.
Like I treat everybody the same until they give me a reason to treat them differently. You know what I mean?
But that's my point. So we grew up being taught equality, but there's lots of, I would say, maybe communities who probably aren't.
You're right. You're 100% right. And I think though, especially with all the exposure that these topics get on the political front and on the media front, I think more and more people are going to be more accepting, and I think there's I guess what I'm trying to say is I think there's a lot more good people than what the media might lead you to believe.
100% agree.
Because here's the thing, the government and the media, they love to divide us, so they're going to want you to think that there's half the country's racist, half the country's not. They want you to think things like that because, for one, it gets your votes. Yeah. At the voting booths when it comes around. It gets their votes that they want. They're all fighting for votes. That's all they fucking care about. They don't care about us. And then you got the media that just pushes this shit because they make a bunch of money off of it.
Yeah. Well, why do you think every single like major concern becomes politicized? Like, look at the COVID thing. We don't have to go down the COVID line because honestly, I'm kind of exhausted.
We probably talked about it. That's fine. I'm trying to move out of the COVID phase as the rest of the world is. So let's just, And
that's acceptable because CDC said so. But
I'm not ignorant to it. No, I don't do stupid shit. But no, I already had COVID.
That was more so a joke.
Oh, gotcha.
But that got politicized. So it's it was almost like if you give a shit about COVID and if you take it super seriously, you're a Democrat, and if you don't at all, then you're a Republican. It's like, dude, don't tell me what to believe because of who I may or may not
Right, and I think it's
and
I think it's a totally false narrative too that they push because from just people that I know, There's a lot of Republicans that were really fucking scared of COVID, that took it very seriously.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Democrats, that might have been younger, like my age, that said, I don't give a fuck, I'm going to go to the bar. So, there's just, they try to create these polar opposites. And, I just think there's circling back all the way to the beginning of this topic, when you said that, you were talking about that oh shit, what was it? I lost my train of thought. No, it was right after the segue. You were talking about, oh man, I lost it. Oh well. But I guess,
America, I said,
what did you say?
America is seen as like racist and we're xenophobic, so we're scared of like foreigners, or lots of times. Here's another thing too, especially being in business.
No, this was it.
Okay,
we're a lot more alike. You said that. We're a lot less divided than they said. That's exactly what you said. You said we're a lot less divided than they make it seem, and I think that is true. Between political party lines, whatever. I think we're a lot more alike than what they want us to believe. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I also think that we all have differences, but oftentimes, if you put people in a room together, and I could be wrong for saying this, but from my understanding, most of the time, those differences we don't really give a shit about. Like, if you actually, like, break it down, like, do you really care right now? It's like those little things. You might care in the moment, but afterwards, it's kind of gone. So don't be so fucking hateful because you disagree with somebody in the moment. That's another one of those things, bringing it back full circle to positivity, is, like, don't let the little things bother you, but also don't get upset about, like, the little things, like, which is kind of the same thing I just said, but, like, you know what I mean? If I disagree with something you're saying, fine, dude, fuck it, we disagree.
Right, and that's the thing. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, and I think you instantly become, I want to say, like, I don't want to say a more intellectual individual, but a more like, I mean, your eyes become a little more open as soon as you are able to kind of like just open your eyes to other people's viewpoints and at least listen to them. Mm-hmm. You can have your own viewpoint. You can disagree. That's fine. That is completely fine to have a different viewpoint. I think it's fine if somebody came to me and said, oh, I have the exact opposite political views as you. I would say, okay, let me hear them. And I'm not gonna like combat anything they say. I'm just gonna listen to what they say, and I'm gonna say, oh, okay, well, that's good. I'm glad you shared that with me. Mm-hmm. I might respectfully disagree, but I'm never gonna hate somebody or not be friends with somebody based on political beliefs. I refuse to do it because it's something that's become so common in our culture nowadays.
Yep, 100%. There's several people who I can think of where, like, they'll tell me their views, and in my head I'm like, oh, I think you're so stupid for that. But, like, am I gonna let that stop me from being like their friend? Like, no, whatever. We can disagree completely, and it's fine. But and honestly, this was something my brother was saying on his episode. It's weird that, like, if we disagree, we want to talk about it and, like, learn why we disagree, but we never do that when we agree on the same thing. And I think it's. And I suck at explaining it. The way he did was really much better. But, like, if we never questioned our thoughts because we were always thinking the same, well, that's how groupthink is, like, formed.
Yes.
So just because we have the same thought doesn't mean we shouldn't discuss it, because maybe we have the same thought, but we got to that thought differently, or maybe we think we have the same thought and we start talking through it and we realize, oh, maybe not. So it's funny how as humans we want to just talk about the things we disagree about because we think we can learn from it. But I think we can also learn from talking about the things we agree about, And he said it way better than that. And when he said it too, it was like, I never thought about it that way, but you're right. If we agree on something, usually we disagree and then we move on.
Well, yeah, and another thing, kind of tying into what you just said, people tend to surround themselves with people that think the same way as them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's very dangerous because, that's how cults are formed. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously though, like, it's dangerous because you need that outside perspective. If everybody had the same exact upbringing as you, same exact perspective, same exact beliefs on everything, then you're just going to be like a sheltered dumbass.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
you're gonna be feeding off the same. I mean, how can you grow? And that's the thing too. And I feel like this is one thing that I was very happy to have learned from school and a little bit from work as well. Is diversity of thought breeds innovation, and it breeds like growth. So if you're not getting diversity of thought, you're not growing, you're not becoming more creative, and you're just, you might feel happier in the moment because your opinion's not being challenged. But on the bringing it back again, on the opposite side of challenge is growth. So it's like, hit me with some shit that I disagree with or that I haven't even thought of before, because you don't know what you don't know. So when you start hanging out with these different people that come from different backgrounds, different age groups, different cultures, it might be like kind of shocking and uncomfortable at first, but like you said, you have to become comfortable with the uncomfortable situations and conversations and all these things, because that's how you fucking learn. And you have to, again, listen and be open and mindful instead of, okay, yeah, we'll talk, and then you're not ever talking, you're just generating responses, like premeditated responses in your head, because that's what a lot of people do too, is they'll say, oh yeah, like we tried talking it out. But how many times, like, are you in a conversation yourself where, like, you're arguing with somebody and you're not listening to what the person has to fucking say? You're just thinking of the next thing you're going to say. And that's not productive either.
And, this is a kind of on topic, kind of off topic. But like you just said, when you're arguing with somebody, you don't listen to what they say. Mm-hmm. I think another good thing that people should try and do, and sometimes I fail to do this too, and I really try to make a conscious effort of it. If you're mad at somebody, before you start arguing with them and freaking out, like take like 5-10 minutes, maybe. Like if this is over the phone or texting or something, take 5 or 10 minutes to just like chill out before you respond. And I can almost guarantee you your response after that 10 minutes is not going to be the same response as you had right off the bat.
Oh, dude. Amen to that. But people hate, like, so I've actually done this. I talked about this on the podcast too. There was like 2 different occasions where it was with like close friends and it was going to go real soft real quick. So I said, hey, I'm not even going to read this right now because I saw the book that you sent me and I know it's just charged with hate. So I'm not even going to read your response. I'm not even going to read it, and I'll respond to you tomorrow because, yeah, I want to take care of our issue. But right now, if I read that, for one, I don't think you mean those things. For 2, I'm going to come back way fucking harder. So I'm going to move, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow. And both times I said that, the other party was like, no, yeah, fuck, don't even fucking bother, like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. And then I came back the next day, much more calm, and it turned out fine. So it's like, you're right. Take that pause for yourself and for the other person that you're arguing with. Don't say some shit that's super hateful. Take the second and then analyze the situation for what it is the next day or an hour later or something. Because that's, again, sweating the little things. Everything's going to seem like such a fucking huge problem in the moment. Everything. And if you give it time, as cliche as it sounds, time heals all. So it's like, all right, well, now I have some perspective and I fucking brought my heart rate down and I breathed. I breathed. Yeah, I breathed and I'm feeling better. So that's a big thing too. And I try to make a conscious effort of it as well. Because I used to be like a fucking really mean arguer. Like I would straight up just tear you apart. And now I'm more zen.
You still tear them apart just the next day.
No, I usually will just concede. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever.
It's not worth it.
It's not. It's the little things. So.
And yeah, perfect. It's a good. Yeah.
Have you had something else to say on that?
No, that was exact. Like you took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say it's the little things.
Okay, so I'll just go right into it. You brought up food. I'm just curious what you had to say about food and why that was brought up.
All right. Well, so this morning, I was hungry,
as most people are in the morning.
Yep. So that's where it came from. I was really hungry, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna add that to the list.
Is there a certain food you want to like speak to?
Not really. Shawarma. Shawarma's really good. But I can go off. I can make a list about like 200 things that are really good. One thing I can say for sure, I'm sure a lot of people that watch this live in Livonia, and I texted one of my best friends this morning and said, yo, I want to go to Senate later for a chicken gyro.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say right now to everybody watching, and you're going to fucking thank me for this. Send me a DM on Instagram or something when you have it. But like go to Senate and get a chicken gyro. and put some extra like tzatziki sauce or whatever that shit is on there, it slaps, bro. Anyways, but in a more serious matter, what's your favorite kind of food?
Steak.
Okay, steak.
Or pizza. Can't go
Steak
wrong
and
with
pizza.
But I have to just interject real quick because
Yeah.
you said you think most people in this listen from Livonia, and I think most people probably do. But this just want to give you a show of where we are, Mr. Worldwide. We got
Germany,
United States, Brazil, India, Germany, Japan, France, Canada, Grenada. Actually, I think that was probably Simone. United Arab Emirates, don't know who that is. Morocco, that was probably Carla. Greece, Dominican Republic, Bangladesh.
She's in Morocco?
Idea. She was. No idea where that's from. Switzerland, Poland, Honduras, Singapore, Spain, Portugal, Indonesia, UK, Norway, Tunisia, Pakistan, Australia, and Guatemala. I don't know where those people are listening from, but we're Mr. Worldwide over here. We're doing it big. So,
all right. Well, you guys might not have a Senate Coney Island near you, so
I'd say probably like 88% are probably listening from like Livonia or like Wayne County.
Yeah, Metro.
And the rest of that, man, they'll be like, what is Senate? But maybe they'll bring more people to Livonia.
Yeah, next Senate Coney Island can thank me when there's a line of 2,000 people at their door because they all saw Trapped in My Mind and they were like,
saw or listened, apparently, because I mean, I don't make those things up. You saw it. That's the analytics from Anchor. So I don't know.
But so steak and pizza. You're a simple guy. I like it. What's your favorite kind of steak?
Oh, okay. So
Like favorite cut or whatever. Like mine is a fillet. You give me a
New
fillet,
York
I'll
strip.
devour that shit. New York strips are good.
See, I don't know. But okay, so real quick, best meal that I can think of, I think, is Grey Ghost in Detroit. It's I'm not gonna give a full story just for time purposes, but their steak is really expensive, but they're known for their steak and their cocktails. And that steak is like my ideal steak. And they have filet and they have New York strip usually, and they have an alternating menu. But their New York strip to me is fucking delicious.
Oh, man, you literally look like you'd make love to it. Do you?
No, I plead the fifth. I have that right. Okay. No
fair.
comment. But I mean, pizza's good too. But so, what's your favorite food?
Oh shit. Yeah, I would definitely say steak's up there. I fucking love shrimp. If you give me some shrimp pasta, oh my god.
Oh, you lost me with the pasta, but shrimp.
Okay, well I love pasta, so I'm Italian, so
I like pasta too, but shrimp pasta,
dude, like shrimp scampi. You've never had
I've had it.
Like oh my god, the garlic and shit in there.
Yeah, I feel like garlic parmesan shrimp or just grilled shrimp. Yeah.
Oh, grilled shrimp is by far. So I would definitely say like shrimp dishes. Pasta is like one of my favorite foods. And actually recently I have just been obsessed with Mexican food.
Okay.
Like holy fuck, I love it.
Yeah, like Las Palapas.
Oh, dude, I love ploppies. Oh, yeah. All right. By the way, my friend group and I call Las Palapas ploppies. So
Botas and Las Palapas. So if you're on, so I already said my dream meal. Like if I was on death row, if you're on death row, you got one last meal, or it doesn't have to be death row. But if you had one meal, what would it be, and where from?
Well, I'm actually eating it next weekend. I'm going to Vegas on Saturday. That was a good ass sheesh. I'm not good at that, bro. That was fucking really good in the mic. Anyways, I'm going to Vegas on Saturday. I'm going to Vegas, and there's Gordon Ramsay has a steakhouse there, and I've had it a few times, and it's fucking to die for. Like his beef Wellington, his signature dish, is like the best fucking thing on the planet, dude.
Really?
Like it doesn't sound like it'd be great.
Yeah.
So they take like, I think it's a fillet, and they wrap it in some like mushroomy, or I don't even know what the fuck they wrap it in. And then they like it's like a pastry over it, but it's not like super doughy or anything. It's like a pastry, but like, dude, it like melts in your mouth. It's like the best thing ever.
So would it be the steak or the beef Wellington from there?
Either one, like the beef Wellington has steak in it. Like it's like a fillet and it's wrapped in this shit.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what it's wrapped in, but I get it, and it's really good.
So Gordon Ramsay beef Wellington dish would be your meal?
That would be, yes. If I was like, yeah.
Okay.
If I had one more meal.
Well, I have to ask, since we have you in recording, if you're going to Vegas and let's say you hit it real big, will you?
I'm not coming back.
You're not coming back?
I'm just playing.
I was gonna make an ask like, yo, will you like help me get some like studio mics or something? If you hit it big, like I'm over $1 million. So I asked.
Bro, I'll get you some fucking studio mics if I make. Well, how much? All right, first of all, how much are studio mics?
$140, and then the stand was like, I don't know, $70.
So like a couple $100 a piece.
Yeah, that's all I ask. If you hit it big,
If I win 10 grand or more, I'll buy you studio mics.
okay. Well, now
I'm a philanthropist, so you know.
So now it's locked in.
Yeah.
So if you hit it, where's my money?
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
Brian from Family Guy.
And you gotta have me on
Or
again.
Stewie.
You gotta have me on again.
Yeah, well, duh.
Because like, you know, it's like sponsored in part by me.
Yeah, but then we'll have a different perspective. It'll be a different Botas.
Oh, it'll be a different Botas. Fuck yeah, I'll be much richer. I'll have a cool car. I'll probably put it down. But if I won like 10 grand in Vegas, I'd put like 5 grand down on like a cool sports car or something.
Like what?
A few things, maybe like a Mustang or something. I'd probably buy. First of all, I'd buy something a few years old, like a 2015-ish. There's some BMWs that look really nice.
Yeah.
So I'd buy it used, and I would just finance it, whatever. It'd be kind of fun. But I will say, don't get your hopes up. I've never like won at the casino. So.
Yeah. Well, I think it's meant to go against.
Yeah, I lose.
What
like,
do you play?
But I lose like all my money every time.
What do you play?
Not like all my money I have, but all that I came to gamble with.
Oh yeah, I know how it goes.
So I'll play blackjack. I'll play roulette.
Roulette's a bitch, dude. It'll get you.
Dude, it will get you.
You'll be doing good. You're like, fuck yeah. And then
it just takes.
All I gotta say is ride the red.
Okay, I will
ride the red. Don't try to catch black.
Hey. Oh no, this isn't gonna go out by the time I go to Vegas.
It's gonna be a couple weeks.
I was gonna say anybody in the comments on. I know you put like an Instagram post. I was saying anybody in the comments, give me a number to put on the roulette table, and the one that gets the most number 2. Okay, I'll do number 2 when I'm there, and if that hits, get the studio mics.
No,
but I blackjack, roulette, 3-card poker is really fun, and I haven't played it a lot. I just played it the last time I was in Vegas, and it was a fucking blast. So 3-card poker is awesome. If I'm like drunk enough, I'll do some slots because at that point you don't want to have to. You don't want to have to think about like.
That's why I do roulette.
The card games, you know. So you lose all your money on slots though. So
yeah, I hate slots. I'm never going back to unless I'm in Vegas. I'm never going back to a fucking.
Yeah, I haven't been to a casino in about 2 years, and that was in Vegas the last time I was in the casino.
Well, I wish you better luck.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Was it April showers bring May flowers? So maybe you'll get, there's you can pull something from that.
I will, yeah. I'm gonna be thinking about that when I'm in Vegas.
And when you win, you'll be like, fucking sad.
I'll be like, fuck, dude.
Anyway, kind of been all over the place on this episode, which I have enjoyed. Before we go, I always like to end it with a mental health tip. So anything you do to achieve mental health, anything you do to prioritize mental health, or if you're having a bad day, maybe something that you can do to kind of pull yourself out of that rut. What would be your mental health tip?
So first of all, I think it's good to make a conscious effort to improve your mental health. I mean, that's like one of the biggest things. I think that matters way more than any certain like approach you bring to actually improving your mental health. I think the most important thing is making a conscious effort to do it in the first place. Because like, I guess what I'm saying is you don't need a foolproof, like you don't need a set way to do it. But if you're consciously thinking of it, it's going to happen and you're going to improve your health. That being said, I think it's really good to make sure you have a good balance in your life between your family, your friends, your work. Work's important. I know a lot of people our age are really concerned with grinding at work. I want more money. I want that promotion, whatnot. And they work long hours and they don't realize what that does to their health. And that kind of leads to what it brings, which it brings stress. And, I work with a lot of older people at work sometimes, and, I like to listen to their wisdom, and they'll tell you stress is a killer. I honestly think the key to a long, happy life is keeping your stress levels low.
Yeah, it wipes you out, man. You get fatigued.
It wipes you out. Eventually, you're going to hit a wall, and you're going to have health problems or something, and it really does deteriorate you. And I think having a good balance in your life between the things that matter to you most, so not just work, but doing other things. People think in order to make it in the business world, or in order to make a lot of money, I need to work like 15 hours a day.
You gotta work like a dog
and sleep 2 hours a day. But that is not true. Yeah. It is just not true. You can do it working your normal 40 to 50 hours a week, and then having a good balance, because when you're only working, when you're working a normal load, and then you have a good like life outside of work, when you're at work, you're gonna be so much more productive. So that 40 to 50 hours is gonna feel like 80
I
if
feel
you
like
do
even
it right.
less than that. Like, lots of times there's times where I don't have shit to do. But honestly, that's just work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, 100%. And then the last thing I will say, and it's something that has been a theme of the whole episode. I know it's kind of hard to identify a theme considering we've talked about
tying it back.
We've talked about everything from like living in America to aliens to food to being happy. The one thing that actually kept coming up in every conversation was don't sweat the little things. And that is like, that's something I can't say I'm 100% successful at it, but it's something that I have really been trying to make a conscious effort of. And it has made me so much happier. It really does. As soon as you start to get upset about something, just kind of take a step back, take a deep breath, and just remember it's very minuscule on the grand scheme of things. So
yeah, I like that, and I think it does work if you can do it. It's hard to do,
very,
but it's a good tip. So, Botas, Matt, thank you for coming on, man. It's been fun. If you're listening to this and you'd like to come on the podcast as a guest, hit me up. The Instagram and Facebook is TIMM Podcast. Yeah, it's TIMM Podcast. Or text me or get a hold of me somehow. Is there anything you want to promote?
Yeah, sure.
Go for it.
A couple things really quick. First, my girlfriend, Andy Hargis, she does some bomb-ass hair. So if you need your hair done, hit her up. Message her on Instagram.
Men's
follow
too?
her. She'll do it, yeah. Well, not men's as much. She does a lot more
Okay.
women's. However, she does my hair right now, and she does a really good job.
Yeah, you
So
always got
she's still
fresh hair.
practicing, though. But she would love to have more men's hair to cut
Okay.
to practice. She'd probably do it. I'm not going to say, I don't want to, make a promise on there, but she might even do it for free for you. So I don't know. Hit her up. Also, I'm always down to make new friends. So if any of you guys want to follow me on Instagram when Seth posts this out,
I'll tag him in all this.
you can tag me, and everybody feel free to follow me. It's it's
You
cool.
follow back?
I follow everybody back. Fuck yeah. So, and other than that, I do want to mention, I want to ask you, for your Guatemalans and Moroccans and everybody else and Brazilians watching, would you ever be interested in doing a Zoom call podcast?
Yeah, I've actually been asked a couple times to do like that, and this will sound like I don't know how this will sound. So the people that have been in the United States have asked me to do that. I'd said maybe. I just haven't I've been lazy, and so I haven't looked at how to do it, even though it's pretty easy. But if somebody outside of the country definitely wanted to, fuck yeah. So whoever is listening to this podcast from outside the country, yeah, hit me. Send me a message or something. I don't know how the fuck you found this, but I think it's awesome. So I would love to. And even the people who aren't in Michigan who would like to come on via Zoom, I'll work on it. I just gotta stop being lazy. So awesome. You have me in recording saying that. So we'll get to you. So didn't you have a Instagram that rates drinks?
I do. It's called Drinking Up Detroit. Just one word. If you want to follow us, give us a follow. We just try different bars, different craft beers, cocktails, things like that. Just have a good time. We were actually at a little place that we saw on TikTok last night called Evening Bar. It's like the one on TikTok. It's right by the Shinola Hotel. Yeah. There's the two little eyeballs, and that's it. Yep. Just on a plaque and then a door. Yeah. So we went in there and had a couple drinks and took some pictures. We'll end up posting pictures of the drinks. Nice. And we give a little rating sometimes, and yeah. Yeah,
I needed to I follow that, so I wanted to promote that because I appreciate that. I figured you maybe just forgot.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
So I think, you know what? Maybe I'll start a new segment every week of just unsolicited ads of things that we like, because I'm not getting paid for them. I might as well just shout them out. But also the thing, it'd be rude
ad
of
breaks.
me.
Start ad breaks. Nah. Little quick commercials.
Maybe. But it'd be rude of me not to mention that I got the idea to ask where, if you want to promote anything from my brother's podcast, A Pizza My Life. So they have a podcast. It's comedy based, but it's my brother and Pizza Eric. So check them out because they're really good and they have a lot of funny shit. But they always ask their guests if they have anything they want to promote, and I'm taking an idea from them because I think that's pretty cool. So check out all the shit he just said. Ladies and gents, hit up Andy for haircuts, and then go. What's the drinking name again?
Drinking Up Detroit.
Okay, check it out. It's lots of cool spots in Detroit. and who doesn't. Well, there's a lot of people who don't like drinking, but a lot of people do like drinking, so hit it up. Anyway, and thanks again. Until next week, guys. See you later.
Thank you.